it's very important to understand why people buy certain things, from as simple as buying the pen to as complicated as buying mutual funds and insurance products. So it's very important to understand if you're selling to a company, if you're selling to a person, the motivations behind that decision to buy are very important. And I'll also cover in some detail as to why, what can you do that they buy from you and not somebody else. So as a sales professional, it's very important. You're in a competitive market, and there are many people vying for the same pie of business. So it's very important to understand why, what can you do, what is in your control, so that they buy from you, not from your competitor, either in a B2B setup or in a B2C setup, whatever it is. So one of the major reasons why people buy is they have a need. There is a problem they want to solve. I'm on rent, I want to buy a house. It's a problem. I can't change my house every 2 years with the landlord. Somebody decides suddenly that I want to sell this house, I want a better tenant or a different tenant, more rent. So there's a problem I need to solve. I need to go to office, so I have to have a vehicle, right? Which vehicle? Not very important right now, but my need is to travel because public transport is not doing justice to my time. So I have to solve that need of going to office by buying a vehicle. Now it should be two-wheeler, four-wheeler, we'll talk about it. So it's a need. I buy groceries because I have to eat to live, to survive. So a lot of things that we buy or any customer buys is to solve a problem, either of hunger or of shelter or of travel and so on. The other reason why people buy is convenience. So I would buy from an Amazon or a Blinkit or any other service because it's convenient to me. I don't want to, and when I say convenience, it could also have cost part of it, because if today you were to pick your car and go to a grocery shop, you will incur some cost. Petrol is expensive. So when you're getting free delivery from Amazon, you're saving on that cost as well as saving on time, and therefore not wasting your time, and therefore you're buying convenience as well. So a lot of people buy because it's convenient to buy. And a lot of people buy because they want to be safe, secure. So insurance, unfortunately, in India is sold as an investment product, but things are changing. People are more and more people are buying term products. So it's for safety of themselves and their families. So when they buy insurance, they are not just buying some sort of investment that they will get X amount after Y number of years, but they are buying an insurance product that, God forbid, something were to happen to me, family has to be financially secure. And health insurance has picked up big time in India. So people buy health insurance because they want to feel financially safe. Safety doesn't necessarily mean physical safety, right? It also means financial safety. So if I go to a hospital for any problem today, which requires hospitalization, we all know private hospitals will fleece you big time. So it's to protect yourself against that, you take insurance. A lot of people now buy security devices, video cameras, CP Plus, Vision, so many brands. And a lot of people buy these other things which are related to safety, GPS tracker in their car, and so on and so forth, all to keep their belongings safe and their family safe. So safety is another reason why people buy products. Impulse. If you go to a supermarket today, you would notice that you have to wait for a checkout where your billing counters are less than the number of people, and they make you wait purposely so that while you're waiting, there are a lot of things kept around you in aisles, and you can buy something more that you're not planned to buy. So typically in a grocery store, you will see a lot of chewing gum, a lot of chocolates, batteries, things you don't plan to buy, but then if you see, then you want to buy. So that's impulse buying. And if you go to and a lot of these impulse buying items are not very costly in the sense that they are very low value. So you buy a chocolate of 25 rupees, 50 rupees. They will not keep 500 rupees ka chocolate box close to you when you try to checkout counter. Similarly, in a store where you're going to buy your clothes, you will see socks being kept at the exit where you're actually doing your checkout, you're paying cash or by card. This is where they want to drive more sales through banking, that some people would want to buy something which they're not planned to, and that's called impulse purchase. And a lot of people buy things out of desire, and that desire is largely emotional. They don't need that product. They can very well buy an Alto to go to office, but because they can afford, they would rather buy a more expensive car, right? If the idea is only to go to office in a safe car, any car would do as long as it is safe. But then why do people buy Audis? Why do people buy Mercedes? Why do people buy Porsches? Or even in movies, a lot of people buy क्योंकि उनको खुश होना है. They want to feel happy कि मुझे मेरे को ये लिया. So when you buy your first iPhone, you feel very happy. Oh, I have an iPhone, or for the first time you buy a mobile, you feel very happy. तो वो एक बहुत important feeling है. Final thing is social status. So people want to show their social status. कि देखो मैं तो बड़ा आदमी हूँ, मेरे पास ये बड़ी गाड़ी है, तो इसलिए भी लोग खरीदते हैं कुछ चीजें. मैं आईफोन वाला आदमी हूँ, मेरे पास क्योंकि आईफोन के साथ एक एसोसिएट हो गया है कि अमीर लोगों का फोन है, तो मुझे अमीर दिखना है, तो मुझे आईफोन लेना है, तो मुझे बड़ी खुशी मिलती है उससे. वो एक कि मैं मेरा सोशल स्टेटस दिख रहा है यहाँ पे लोगों के. बहुत लोग फ्लॉन्ट करते हैं. आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. एक एड आई थी जिसमें एक मोबाइल फोन था, वो बहुत छोटा सा मोबाइल फोन था और लेडीज के लिए था. तो लेडीज के बाल लंबे जैसे होते हैं, तो उन्होंने उसको दिखाया कि वो लेडीज बात कर रही है फोन पे और फोन कान पे लगाया हुआ है एंड वो दिख नहीं रहा है. दैट फोन फ्लॉप. Why? Because mobile phone at that time, in those years, used to be a thing that people wanted to show, right? तो वो completely opposite था कि वो फोन दिख ही नहीं रहा, तो उस मोबाइल फोन का फायदा क्या है? Why? Because जो लोग लेते थे मोबाइल फोन सोशल स्टेटस के लिए, जब मोबाइल बहुत महंगा था तब भी लेते थे क्योंकि उनको सोशल स्टेटस दिखाना होता था. तो लोग इसलिए भी खरीदते हैं कि उनको अपना सोशल स्टेटस दिखाना. तो ये प्रोडक्ट कैटेगरी पे डिपेंड करता है कि लोग क्यों खरीद रहे हैं. आप फूड खरीदोगे तो नीड में आएगा. आप एक ऑडी खरीदोगे तो आपके वो आइडेंटिटी सोशल स्टेटस में आएगा. अगर आप एक इंश्योरेंस खरीदो तो आपकी सेफ्टी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से आप खरीद रहे हो. आप अमेजोन से खरीद रहे हो और किसी मॉल में जाकर नहीं खरीद रहे हो, कन्वीनियंस के लिए खरीद रहे हो, या आप डील्स वैल्यू के लिए खरीद रहे हो, आपको डील्स मिलती है वहाँ पे. तो अलग अलग प्रोडक्ट अलग अलग जगह से खरीदे जाते हैं और अलग अलग रीजन से खरीदे जाते हैं. तो ये एक समझना बहुत जरूरी है एक सेल्स के पर्सन के लिए कि आप जिस भी इंडस्ट्री में हो, वो आपका जो प्रोडक्ट आप बेच रहे हो, वो प्रोडक्ट लोग क्यों खरीद रहे हैं, ये जानना बहुत जरूरी है. और वो किस चैनल से खरीदना उसको प्रेफर करेंगे, राइट? अब वो लोग खरीदते कहाँ से हैं? अब वो खरीदते वहां से हैं, उस कंपनी से या उस पर्सन से जहां से दे नो द पर्सन, दे लाइक द पर्सन, दे ट्रस्ट द पर्सन. ट्रस्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. और दूसरा उससे खरीदते हैं जो उनको वैल्यू देता है. दो लोग आए, दे हैव द सिमिलर प्रोडक्ट, कंपनी ए कंपनी बी, ये प्रोडक्ट एक्स रुपीज का है, 100 रुपीज का, ये 80 का, तो मैं 80 वाला लूंगा बिकॉज मेरे को लग रहा है कि सिमिलर प्रोडक्ट है, कुछ चेंज नहीं है. तो मैंने वैल्यू अपने लिए डिलीवर करी. दूसरा है कि एक बंदा आया, आपने नोटिस किया होगा कि LIC जो बिकती है इंडिया में, वो सबसे ज्यादा बिकती है एजेंट्स के थ्रू. और एजेंट किनको बेचते हैं? एजेंट बेचते हैं उन लोगों को जिनको वो जानते हैं. और ज्यादातर LIC जो खरीदते हैं वो लोग उनसे खरीदते हैं, वो ब्रांच में कोई नहीं जाता खरीदने के लिए, वो किसी अपने नोन बंदे से खरीदते हैं कि यार तेरे को मैं जानता हूँ, तू मेरे को बता बेस्ट LIC पॉलिसी कौन सी है. So, and when you're going on a cold call, you're going to meet somebody just who you don't know, then you have to build that trust because you don't know that person. और ये दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन होता है, ट्रस्ट और वैल्यू का, और डिपेंड करता है कुछ चीजों पे. फॉर एग्जांपल हाई इन्वॉल्वमेंट परचेज है या लो इन्वॉल्वमेंट परचेज है. फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे को एक बड़ी गाड़ी लेनी है, बहुत बड़ा घर लेना है जिसमें मेरा बहुत बहुत देखना है, बहुत चॉइसेस है मेरे पास. बच्चे का स्कूल ढूंढना है, 50 स्कूल है शहर में, कौन से स्कूल में जाना है उसकी पूरा इवेल्युएशन करना है. आई विल गो विजिट. इट्स अ वेरी हाई इन्वॉल्वमेंट, हाई टाइम रिलेटेड डिसीजन. सो उसमें इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और वो लंबा है. एक बार घर लेना, रोज रोज तो घर नहीं ले सकते, रोज रोज गाड़ी नहीं बदल सकते, रोज रोज बच्चों का स्कूल नहीं बदल सकते. एक टीवी ले लिया 25,000 रुपए का, 30,000 रुपए का, 50,000 रुपए का, तो रोज रोज टीवी नहीं ले सकते. मोबाइल फोन ले लिया, रोज रोज नहीं ले सकते. तो ये हाई इन्वॉल्वमेंट डिसीजन है कि एक बार ले लिया तो मैं इसके साथ अटक जाऊंगा, तो सोच समझ के करना है. तो इसमें टाइम भी लगता है. तो इसमें मुझे टिपिकली लोगों की एडवाइस की जरूरत है. इंडस्ट्री का एक्सपर्ट हो, कोई बताए मुझे कि यार ये बच्चों का स्कूल है, ये कहाँ कौन सा स्कूल अच्छा है, क्यों अच्छा है. और उसके लिए कहीं ना कहीं ट्रस्ट मोर इम्पोर्टेंट है वैल्यू से, क्योंकि मेरे बच्चे का फ्यूचर है ना, डिपेंड करता है उस पर. तो मैं 500 रुपये एक्स्ट्रा फीस दे दूंगा, लेकिन मेरे को स्कूल अच्छा चाहिए और मेरे को कोई बता दे कि यार ये ये स्कूल अच्छा है क्योंकि XYZ रीजन है, यहाँ ऐसा होता है वैसा होता है. हम लोगों ने देखा है कि ये बहुत सारी कंपनी सेलिब्रिटीज को यूज करती हैं। शाहरुख खान बाइजू की ऐड करता है, इतने कार की ऐड करता है। क्या शाहरुख खान कार का एक्सपर्ट है? क्या शाहरुख खान एजुकेशन का एक्सपर्ट है? नहीं है, राइट? तो हम ये क्यों करते हैं, कंपनीज क्यों करती हैं? क्योंकि जनता इन लोगों पर ट्रस्ट करती है। तो अगर ये बोल रहे हैं कि ये प्रोडक्ट अच्छा है तो वो लेते हैं। तो सेलिब्रिटी एडवर्टाइजिंग का पूरा ऑब्जेक्टिव यही होता है कि दैट टू क्रिएट द ट्रस्ट ऑन द ब्रांड, राइट? तो ये है बिकॉज पीपल लाइक टू बाय फ्रॉम पीपल दे ट्रस्ट, राइट? सो ये कहीं ना कहीं ट्रस्ट एक बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर है, बहुत अंडर एस्टिमेटेड होता है। और हम किसी भी इंडिविजुअल को कुछ बेचने जाते हैं तो हम इस चीज को नजर, और इसमें बहुत छोटी छोटी चीजें होती हैं जो हमें ध्यान रखनी होती है, लेकिन हम नजरअंदाज कर जाते हैं। और फिर हमें लगता है यार मैं इतनी मेहनत कर रहा हूँ, सेल्स तो हो नहीं रही है। इनफैक्ट साइज ऑफ स्पेंड, कितना पैसा मेरे को खर्चना है, जितना ज्यादा पैसा खर्च करना है उतना मुझे मैं बहुत सोच समझ के करूंगा। तो मेरे को वहां पे ट्रस्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट? और रिस्क इन्वॉल्व। मुझे फॉर एग्जाम्पल म्यूचुअल फंड में पैसा लगाना है, पैसे किसी के एडवाइस पे तो नहीं लगा लूंगा। तो मैं किसी ऐसे बंदे के पास जाऊंगा जो मुझे समझा सके कि यार ये वाला म्यूचुअल फंड इस म्यूचुअल फंड से बेटर है, इसका ये ऐसे है वैसे, जो भी कंपैरिजन मुझे देगा, और मैं उस पर विश्वास कर सकूं कि जो मुझे बता रहा है वो सही बता रहा है। So it's very important that this trust factor and the value factor are kind of balanced। और ये चीजों को हम ध्यान रखें कि जो जो भी हम प्रोडक्ट बेच रहे हैं वो कस्टमर के लिए हाई रिस्क हाई इन्वॉल्वमेंट लो इन्वॉल्वमेंट है कि, या हाई रिस्क लो रिस्क है, या हाई वर्सेस लो अमाउंट है। इन चीजों पर बहुत चीजें डिपेंड करती है। यहाँ आपको अपना इंटेलिजेंस लगाना होता है कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप किसी ने घर खेला, आप रियल एस्टेट में काम करते हैं, किसी ने घर खरीदना, वो भैया जिंदगी भर की पूंजी लगा रहा था, वो टाइम लेगा। आप उसको रोज फोन करके पूछोगे सर क्या डिसाइड किया, सर क्या डिसाइड किया, वो एक दिन आपको ब्लॉक कर देगा, फोन नहीं उठाएगा। क्योंकि ये उस कस्टमर के लिए, आपके लिए वो सेल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, लेकिन उस कस्टमर के लिए अपनी जिंदगी भर की पूंजी लगाना, वो कहीं से लोन ले रहा है बैंक से, सोच समझ के लेगा, वो जल्दबाजी नहीं करेगा। लेकिन इधर से आप उसको जल्दबाजी फोन पे नहीं होगा वो, तो यू लॉस्ट द ट्रस्ट। बोला कुछ तो लोचा है, रोज फोन कर रहा है, कुछ तो प्रॉब्लम है, ये घर ठीक नहीं लग रहा मेरे को, कुछ तो डाउट लग रहा है मेरे को। डाउट नहीं भी होगा कस्टमर के माइंड में तो आपकी कॉल क्रिएट कर देंगी। तो ये चीजें समझना बहुत जरूरी है। इसके बेसिस पे आपका बिहेवियर डिपेंड करेगा, राइट? आपकी नेचर ऑफ इंटरेक्शन डिपेंड करेगी। सो अगर आप इसको 2x2 मैट्रिक्स में डालेंगे तो दो डायमेंशन है, एक पे ट्रस्ट है, एक पे वैल्यू है। तो कोई भी कस्टमर जब खरीदेगा तो क्या खरीदेगा, कहां से खरीदेगा? सो पीपल विल बाय आइदर हाई ट्रस्ट हाई वैल्यू और लो ट्रस्ट हाई वैल्यू, बट पीपल विल डेफिनेटली नॉट बाय लो वैल्यू। उनको वैल्यू तो चाहिए ही चाहिए। So इसमें बड़ा important, very important point is high trust, low value. You will ask me all this while you're talking about trust, but then यहाँ तो there is high trust, and but why is somebody not buying from me because the trust is high? Because you're not providing value. Trust doesn't mean you will fleece the customer. आप 100 रुपए की चीज 120 में नहीं बेच सकते हो। You can't sell a product for 100 rupees at 120 rupees just because the person trusts you. He trusts you, he will buy from you, provided you also providing value, right? So again, going back to the example, there is something that I want to buy, और वो चीज मुझे somebody selling me for 100 rupees, somebody selling me for 100 rupees, but I trust this person more, I will buy from this person. So value has to be there, and value and trust is the best combination. So how is trust generated? Deep knowledge about competition, about industry. So if you are in software sales, you should know who are the other companies, what is their strength, what kind of timelines they follow, what is their billing rate. If you are in retail sales, so for example, if you're in FMCG sales frontline, you should know who are the other companies in the market who are trying to find the same distributor. उनकी policy क्या है? So you go to a retailer, you tell him, okay, my chocolate is better, and we also take back if it expires, but the other company does not take it back if it expires. So your risk is low, so he will keep the product. So knowing about competition is very important. Knowing about industry is very important. So let me tell, since I'm in school, let me also give you a school example that when a parent comes to meet us for admission, it is very important that we know that CBSE board, ICSE board, British board of IGCSE, IB board, which is International Baccalaureate, what is the difference? Because they ask these questions. So if I don't know, नहीं मेरे को तो मेरे school के बारे में, I only know about my school. I can't tell you about CBSE. They say this person knows nothing. It is just opened a shop and doesn't know anything about education. So knowing about industry, knowing about competition is very important, because if you have deep knowledge, I will trust you. So for example, if you have to sell mutual funds, you have to have very deep knowledge about financial products. You have to know about insurance. You have to know about clauses of insurance. You have to know about pre-existing diseases in health insurance. So knowing about your product, knowing about industry, knowing about competition is very important. Because when you talk to a customer and explain to him why your product is better than somebody else's product, you have to compare benefits, you have to compare features. So all that requires you to have very deep knowledge. You have to know regulations as well. If you're in technical product, you need to know the regulations. So all that knowledge is very critical to develop trust. You should have insights. Now, when you go to sell somebody to somebody who's sitting in an office and you're going and meeting and say you want to sell insurance, small insights are very helpful. When you walk into the office, you will see the guy has parked a Mercedes outside. So paise wala hai. Is an Audi, Mercedes, any big expensive car. So that guy has capacity. That's an insight that I will take. That when I will pitch him insurance, I will not pitch him small amount. I will pitch him a big amount. When I pitch him mutual fund, I will pitch him in lakhs, not in thousands, because this guy can afford. So I can sell more to this guy. Those insights. Then insights around how the product is used. So for example, if you meet the person and you know that this person is around 40 years, so iske bacche roughly 14-15 साल के बच्चे होंगे, 12 साल के बच्चे होंगे, तो इसके बच्चों को यूनिवर्सिटी बहुत जल्दी जाना है 5-7 साल में. So you will accordingly talk about this. Sir, I think if you have children, they must be going to university in 5 years. So let's look at a plan which will give you returns in 5 years. So these are small selling insights that you have to carry with you, and then you recommend products which will help solve the problem for the customer. If you sell an FD to a customer who wants high returns, it's not going to sell, right? So we have to ensure that the right insights we carry about our product, about our industry, about how our product is used, so that we are able to provide the right solution. So pen drives, hard drives, right? बिकती है market में. It was in vogue for a long time. अभी लोग लेते हैं, but if you're going to sell a hard drive in this day and age where people are mobile, a lot of people have smartphones, then it's a wrong product to sell, because a hard drive I cannot access on my phone. So in today's day and age, somebody wants to buy storage, it's better to recommend a cloud-based storage like a Google Drive or a iCloud of iPhone, rather than, which is why sales of these are going up and hard drives and pen drives are reducing in sales. Why? Because cloud is accessible on any device. So when somebody asks you for advice, yaar ye meri problem hai, main kaise karoon, kahan karoon? So solution is, if you are mobile, if you keep moving, then you need a cloud. But if you're sitting in office and aapko kahin bhi access nahi karna, hard drive. So all those kind of things, those insights are very important. The third thing is advisory. A person will trust you if you sell as an advisor, which is why LIC sells so much. It has 50% market share. So if you analyze the customer's real needs and use those insights that you have about industry and advise the customer with the right solution for their need, rather than say, "Sir, mere paas ye aap yahi le lo." So I'll give you an example. When a lot of parents come to our school for admission, we tell a lot of parents that we are not the right school for you. Example देता हूँ, हमारे स्कूल में ट्रेडिशनल मेथड्स सब नहीं पढ़ाते हैं. So we ask the parent, okay, what do you expect? आपका बच्चा ग्रेड नर्सरी केजी में क्या करना चाहिए? बोले केजी तक तो उसको पूरा सेंटेंस लिखना आ जाना चाहिए, उसको टेबल्स आने चाहिए मैथ्स के. हमारी एक्सपेक्टेशन है कि वो इंग्लिश में बहुत अच्छे से लिखेगा, सेंटेंसेस बनाएगा. तो हम उस पेरेंट को बोलते हैं कि सर फिर ये आपके लिए राइट स्कूल नहीं है, आप किसी और स्कूल में जाइए, बिकॉज हमारे स्कूल में ये सब नहीं होगा. हमारे स्कूल में बच्चा केजी में सिर्फ वर्ड्स लिखेगा, सेंटेंसेस नहीं लिखेगा. हमारे स्कूल में हम मल्टीप्लिकेशन टेबल्स नहीं पढ़ाते हैं केजी में, राइट? तो वी आर नॉट द राइट स्कूल फॉर यू. मैं अपनी सेल कम कर रहा हूँ, राइट? लेकिन जब जो भी पेरेंट मेरे पास ये सुनने के बाद भी आता है, वो बाद में परेशान नहीं होता है, वो छोड़ के नहीं जाता है. तो मेरा रिलेशनशिप बहुत लॉन्ग टर्म बिल्ड होता है. सो आई एम एडवाइजिंग द पेरेंट दैट if this is what you want, we are the right school. If this is what you want, go to some other school, we are not the right school for you. So that advisory is very useful. Parents really, अगर वो मेरे स्कूल में नहीं भी आते हैं तो 2 और पेरेंट्स को भेजते हैं. They send more referrals because they felt that they were treated very well in the school and we were not lied to. Right? So advisory mode in selling is very useful. We should always do that. Sometimes when you go to a customer, you will not be able to solve that person's problem. उसको आपका product वो problem solve नहीं कर रहा. Tell them that, sir, then don't buy our product. It will not help you. He will respect you for that. Then you will think, how will I get my business? I'm a salesperson. I have to sell to this guy. No, but when he does not buy your product, he will definitely refer you somebody who will need your product. वो आज नहीं होगा, future में होगा. I'll give you an example. Somebody used to report to me around, I think, 2007, like 15, 16 years ago. And today that person is sitting in some other country. He's a top performer of a particular bank. And his salary today is 100 times of what it was when he was in India 15 years ago. 100 times in 15 years. Right? How? Relationship advisory. Never missell, never wrong sell. If you don't have a solution, tell you don't have a solution. But if you have a solution, don't let somebody else take your business. So that's the kind of selling you have to do. So advisory is very critical. It's so, for example, if somebody is doing selling in showroom, you're a manager of a showroom or you're a senior sales guy in a showroom, selling the right product. आपको washing machine चाहिए, आपको किस तरह की washing machine चाहिए, कितने लोग रहते हैं आपकी फैमिली में, कितनी बार आप कपड़े धोते हैं, ये सब चीजों को ध्यान रखते हो. Give the right advice, because if you ask these questions and then give an advice, then the customer will say he's right. हमें ये भी करना है, ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए, and then he's suggesting. He's an expert on this. He's suggesting that let's buy from you. So advisory is very important. which किसी भी product में हो, किसी भी industry में हो. Very important thing, reasonability of promise. Never hyperbole. We are this, we are that, we are the best company in this, we are unmatched, unparalleled, world class. All this is fine. How are you going to solve my problem? How are you going to satisfy my need? That is what matters to me. So you can be number one in the world. Doesn't matter to me because your product is not suitable to my need. So what is more important is reasonability. That, so this is your problem. This is my solution. Let's talk about how we can help you. Unreasonable commitments is another trust breaker. You, for example, if that there is a clause in your contract which does not allow you to do certain thing for the customer, and then you say, okay, sir, मैं try करूँगा, sir, management से करा के दूँगा आपको. I will get it done for you. You are a very important customer for me. You are one of the best customers I have ever met. And then after 2 weeks, आपको from right from the beginning नहीं होगा. And you try to घुमाओ the customer that I will try to fix this, and very bad to do. Not advisable at all, because this breaks trust. So it's always better to say no. I'll come to that point in a moment. Keeping promises, very small thing. You're on the call. The customer wants, I've understood. You're selling me insurance. Can you send me the paperwork? Can you send me the brochure? Okay, sir, I will send you in 10 minutes. 1 घंटा हो गया, not sent it. You forgot. You sent it the next day. Customer has lost trust in you. Gone. एक doubt आ गया. Doubt create हो गया. So if you can't send in 10 minutes, say I will send you in 1 hour. I will send you tomorrow morning. But always keep whatever promise you make, and it's a promise. So whatever promise you make, please keep that promise. I will meet you at your office at 10 a.m. Please meet that person at 10 a.m. 10:05 is not acceptable. 10:01 is not acceptable. 9:59, go to the reception and say, I've come to meet so and so person. Ring the bell if you're going to a house. You come into office, and it matters even in your employment. You have to come to office, come 2 minutes early, but not 2 minutes late. Build trust, and this trust also plays very important role in your promotions. I would want to promote somebody who I can trust. कि ये काम बंदा मैं इसको एक बार बोलूँगा काम हो जाएगा. If I can't trust you, I will never promote you. It is such an important thing, both in selling yourself for promotion or selling a product of your company, even if you manufacture your own product, selling your own product. So this promises, punctuality, meeting timelines, meeting commitments is very critical. It is fundamental to building trust. Saying no, you'll be surprised how saying no builds trust. In fact, if somebody were to tell me in my office and come to tell me that this is the product, you need 10 things from this product, my product only can satisfy 8 out of 10 needs. ये दो चीजें ये कभी नहीं करेगा. It's better now. Because if I buy it, even after that, I cannot come back and tell you, यार ये तो ये भी नहीं करता, ये भी नहीं करता, इसमें ये feature नहीं, इसमें ये feature नहीं है, right? So मेरा post purchase dissatisfaction नहीं होगा, and I'll be happy with the service. But if you don't tell me these things, you don't say no, I will be dissatisfied. Another thing, on the call, customer says, see, I have to make a decision by today. Send me the documents in the next 45 minutes, otherwise it will be late. So, sir, I am in the. हाँ sir, मैं भिजवाता हूँ. Typical sales responses, हाँ sir, I will get it done for you. And then you try your best, doesn't happen. Customer loses trust. So it's better to say, sir, 45 minutes little short. I'm traveling right now. I will have to contact somebody to give you this document. Allow me 2 hours. Is that okay with you? I don't think anybody makes important decisions in 45 minutes. I think people will be okay. It's important for you to say no in some places because it builds trust. And then if you meet the timeline, if you say 2 hours and you're able to go back to the customer in 2 hours, it builds trust. So in spite of saying no to 45 minutes, taking time of 2 hours and then keeping that promise of 2 hours builds trust. यार ये बंदा नहीं होता ना, he refuses. I know. If he's saying he will do it, if he's refusing, I know it will not happen. That black and white is very important. A customer should not guess कि पता नहीं यार he has committed. I don't know whether he will do it or not. Right? I'll give an example. You go to a car showroom, your car met with an accident, and the guy says, "Sir, I will give you the car in 3 days." And you say, "Okay, मेरे को 4th day शादी पे जाना है अब दूसरे शहर में. I want my car." ठीक है, I will give it to him. He's saying 3 days. 3rd day के car नहीं मिलती है 4th day को. Will you ever go back to the shop, same service center? No, you will not. So that guy broke your trust. आपका important engagement miss हो गया. आपको शादी पे जाना था. You couldn't go. So this is very important that you keep your commitments and you say no if it cannot be done. Imagery has many things. Appearance. When you go on sales calls or if you're not on, of course, on the phone, but if you're meeting somebody, your appearance is very important. Very important. How you dress up, whether if you're clean shaven, have you shaved? If you have a beard, have you kept it? Are your clothes clean? If your body odor, are you carrying perfume? Are you looking tidy? Are your hair properly done? Are you organized and not clumsy? For example, sometimes we have to use laptops or documents from our bag to show. So when I'm sitting in the front of a customer, then I'm looking for documents. अरे कहाँ रख दिया? इस pocket में नहीं है. अरे कहाँ चला गया? File तो रखी थी मैंने. एक कागज इसमें, एक कागज इसमें. This is clumsiness. You have to be organized. Carry it in a folder. Whatever you want to show. You have to use a laptop. When you open the laptop, you should not take 5 minutes to open the presentation. You wonder, कहाँ रखी थी? कौन से folder में थी? You should be ready. You should know that you have to go. You should be ready. That okay, my PPT is here. I have to open this PPT. This is the brochure I'm carrying. Here it is. This is for you. You have to look very organized. जेब से पेन निकाला, पेन चलता ही नहीं है. ऐसे ऐसे कर रहे हैं. Again, trust broken because you're not planned for this meeting. If you would have planned, if I'm not important to you, you do not give me enough importance. Your pen is not working. You don't know how to operate a laptop. You don't know where your brochure is, where your papers are. You have to look very organized. Mannerisms is the next important part of it. How do you sit? What is your body language? Are again very important. If somebody is offering you tea, coffee, are you taking it, not taking it? If you're refusing it, how are you refusing it? If you're accepting it, how are you accepting it? Very small mannerisms. Are you wishing the person? Are you shaking hands? If you're shaking hands, are your hands sweaty? Should not be sweaty, right? So those small things are very important to build trust, to build likability. And another thing is active listening. Customer is saying नहीं मुझे ये नहीं चाहिए. नहीं सर मेरा प्रोडक्ट बहुत अच्छा है. Customer is saying मुझे लेकिन ये चाहिए नहीं. लेकिन सर इसमें है बहुत अच्छा है, ये लेना चाहिए आप. Customer बोला मुझे नहीं चाहिए. So you're not listening to what the customer is saying. You're pushing your product, and that's something that is not advisable at all. Breaks trust. So if you want to build trust, active listening is very key to it. Listen to what the customer really wants, what is real need, try to judge that, and then pitch your product as a solution and not as a feature. Clear communication again. There are some important things in a say health insurance clause, like existing disease cover नहीं होते हैं 4 साल के लिए किसी policy में 2 साल के लिए. It's very important that you tell it to the customer. ट्रिक मत खेलो कि बिक गया है, इसको पता नहीं, इसने पढ़ा नहीं, इसने पूछा नहीं तो मैंने बताया नहीं. It's not right. Ethical selling is very important, and for that, clear communication is very important. If you're unethical in your sales pitch sales process, it will bite you. It will go as a complaint to your company, and of course, complaint के साथ वो 10 लोगों को और बताएगा, कंपनी का नाम खराब होगा. और आप फिर उसी कंपनी के नाम पे बेचने जाओगे, you will not get the sales. Then you will say this company, the brand is not strong. We are the people as salespeople who make the brand strong because we give an experience to our customers, and based on that experience, the customer recommends your brand to some 10 other people, and maybe he will recommend you. Yeah, if this company said this person came, I really liked him. I think these people are very professional. If you're looking at something similar, I will give you his number. Call him. He's a good guy. That is what you want, rather than saying, yeah, the product was very good. He told me this. He did not do this. He didn't come on time. अब ले लिया है, what to do, but I'm not very happy. You see the difference? Now let's come to, remember we talked about value and trust. How is value generated? Pricing. People really look at, India is a very price sensitive market. So for all the needs of mine, I'm very price sensitive. But if I'm a premium customer, I'm not price sensitive. If I'm a customer who wants to buy a luxury car, typically I will not look for discount. If I'm a customer who wants to buy a house, and that house, the seller is not negotiating for 2 lakh rupees, in a 3 crore deal, 2 lakh rupees is nothing. I will take the deal. But if I am a customer who is buying a house for 20 lakh rupees, 2 lakhs becomes very important, 1 lakh becomes very important, 20,000 rupees becomes very important. So it depends on the profile of the customer, pricing becomes very important there. So depending on who you are selling to, what kind of product you're selling to, pricing creates value. Experience pre and post. So there are two kinds of experiences. One is pre and post buying. So somebody walked into a store to buy a product, and I am the salesperson. Right from the entry where I'm going and showing various products, I'm asking questions. I'm saying, okay, you want a washing machine? How many people are there? What kind of clothes do you have? And so on. And then sir recommend, okay, sir, you're only 2 people. I think 5 kg is good enough for you. 7 kg बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. It will consume more electricity. There's no point. You take a 5 kg. But if you're 5 people in the house, I think 7 kg is the minimum that you should have. So those kind of details, discussions, pre-sales are very helpful. And once the customer chosen the product, paid for the product, वो बोलता है कि मुझे डिलीवरी करा देना, लेकिन कल मैं दिन में घर पे नहीं, मुझे शाम को 5 बजे के बाद डिलीवरी चाहिए. That experience कि यार फोन नहीं करना पड़ा, अपने आप डिलीवरी आ गई. They were following up with me rather than me following up with them. All that is wonderful. This is something we should target while using the product as well. Now, while using the product, there's a problem. Customer will call you, यार वो तुमसे एक चीज ली थी तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, कैसे करना है? Sir, I will arrange for you. Rather than saying मेरा काम हो गया, I finished, my sales is over, I'm not bothered. So now it's the call center that will handle the complaint. I don't have to worry about it. So I think that's a wrong approach. If you help this customer reach to the right customer service person, or help the person troubleshoot, or guide him to the right channel, कि सर कॉल सेंटर वाले फोन उठा था, ये ईमेल आईडी दे रहा हूँ, इस पे मेल करिए. Helping him solve his issue also builds trust and also shows value, that this person really values my time, my money, and he's very supportive of me. So I will buy from him next time because he's always there for me. So I see value in that because मेरा time waste नहीं हो रहा है, and time is money. मेरा पैसा waste नहीं हो रहा है because he's guiding me right. So value is also through the experience, and convenience also creates value. So convenience of going to the busy customer, going to his office, going to his shop, going to his house to sell depending on the product, going to the office, giving him the convenience, saving that person's time, reaching on time, then fulfilling your commitments about deliverables on time. So all this adds to convenience. कि मुझे मेरा कोई stress नहीं लेना है, मुझे कोई follow up नहीं करना है. So it's very convenient. इस बंदे को, if I tell him and he commits, he does it, then it's very convenient. I don't have to do anything. All this is part of value. So if somebody knows that मुझे यहाँ 10 रुपए सस्ती मिल रही है, this thing is 10 rupees cheaper, but it's very cumbersome. This guy I can't trust. This guy will, I know feedback is not good about this company because after sales अच्छा नहीं है. इनको बहुत फोन करने पड़ते हैं, फॉलो करना पड़ता है. Then I will not buy from them. I'll buy a little more expensive product, but I will lay a lot of stress that the service is good and they provide convenience to me. So ultimately, if there are 50 people selling the product of a particular company in the market and all those 50 provide good experience, the brand improves. But if 25 people are not giving a good experience to the customer, they're not picking up their calls after sales, they're not doing good pre-sales, meetings are not on time, they don't send things to them on time, and they're not advising what product push kar rahe hain, they're not actively listening. Of course, this will dilute the brand that you're selling. So it's very important that everybody in the team uses the right mindset to actually sell, and therefore all of you together build the brand of the company, whether it's your own business or it's somebody else's business, somebody else's product. This trust factor is very, very important. Reasonability of promise basically means that if you are not able to fulfill a promise, you should not make that promise. So for example, आपको मालूम है आपकी कंपनी की पॉलिसी है कि वो they never discount, right? So don't even tell the customer, sir, I will try. Just to gain that trust from the customer, you feel you are okay, sir, I will try, I will talk to the management. But you know, आपको पता है that your management does not approve, or your boss, your sales manager does not approve any discount. There is no point. You're actually, by promising that I will try, you're actually losing the trust because आपने expectation बढ़ा दिया है. This guy is saying you will try, तो कुछ ना कुछ तो हो जाएगा. And then you come back and say, I tried very hard with my management, so they did not agree. You lost the trust. You build the trust, try to build the trust, actually lost it. So this is one example of being reasonable. The other example of reasonability is timeline. If you know you cannot fulfill a promise in X number of days or hours, but you promise an aggressive timeline and you're not able to fulfill, then also you break trust. So you were unreasonable in giving a timeline which you knew from the beginning you will not be able to meet. I think you can still show value, for example, by always being on time, picking up the calls very promptly. Those are also a part of value. If you remember, I told you that convenience is also a value. So if I know that, I'll give an example. आपने travel agent से foreign जाने की कोई टिकट ली, आप फ्लाइट काउंटर पे खड़े हो, जहाँ पे आप चेक इन कर रहे हो, और उस काउंटर पे आपको the airline person says that there is some problem with your ticket. Now, if you're calling that travel agent and he's not picking your call, it's a big problem, right? Big problem, because I have to catch my flight and I'm standing there and you're not taking my call. This can happen pre-sales also. That you are evaluating 3 products and you said, okay, I'm standing here, I'm getting this company, this product. Do you have this feature? ये इस washing machine में ये मिल रहा है, तो आपके में है क्या? And वो customer ये पूछना चाहता है and you're not available on the call. And you lost the customer, but this guy is not responsive. I'll buy this. मेरे को अच्छा लगा. So creating value when you're new to the customer also can happen through being available to the customer, giving the customer convenience, pre-sales, even if it's the first time. And those kind of interactions build the trust, and over time, the person sees that there is value with working in this guy because he's always there when I need him. I give an example of somebody I know. Yesterday we met after some time, and he said, "Yeah, he's in real estate," and he said, "Customer hai." He called me कि चलो यार देहरादून चलना है कल. कहता मेरी बहुत मीटिंग थी, but वो मेरा बहुत important customer था. I cancelled everything and went. Right? So you have to be there for your customer for a genuine need. ऐसे नहीं वो बिठा के ले जा रहा है वो घुमाने के लिए. But for genuine needs, you have to be there for your customer. If you are a person who values quality, for you quality is value. So you're actually buying value because you find with me. I think when I say value, it means, of course, durability of the product or the features of the product or what kind of problems that products or service solves for me, that matters. But if you're taking a flight ticket where 2 flights are completely same, you will always buy, the one which is cheaper. So value is cost and price mixed. So if you see quality is way higher than the cost it is charging, of course that's value and you will take it. Best practice to build trust is I am always honest with people whom I'm selling. I in fact undersell a bit and over deliver. I think that's to me the most important part of selling. So if I take a deadline of 3 days to come back, I would go back to the. I know 2 दिन लगेंगे. I will take 2.5 days, 3 days from the customer and deliver on time so that he feels या 3 दिन बोले तो 2 दिन में दे दिया. Or in a B2B environment, like you asked, I think in the B2B environment, always being available on phone whenever the client needs you, replying to emails with the right information, time in the right duration, and always being there in meetings, actively listening, supporting them. Even if and B2B, sometimes the product that you sell has very long gestation period. So always staying in touch. ये गुड मॉर्निंग मैसेजेस तो इरिटेट करते हैं आजकल, ये पुराना स्टाइल हो गया है. सो डोंट सेंड गुड मॉर्निंग मैसेजेस ऑन व्हाट्सएप, बट एनी इंडस्ट्री इनसाइट यू वांट टू शेयर or you want to share any industry news that you get to know, share it with them on email. Sir, this is something new I thought I'll share with you. They also, B2B, it's also very important that they see you as an expert of what you're selling. So again, going back to knowledge, the point about knowledge about industry, having insights about the industry, competition is very. You have to be seen as the most knowledgeable person in a B2B sale, where you understand the pains of the person. So somebody who comes to me to a school to pitch XYZ EdTech product, उसको पता ही नहीं मेरे स्कूल में क्या होता है, and they just start saying this is what we can do. They don't ask me any questions. They start giving about, oh, let me show you a demo. This is what a product is, without understanding how my school functions. It's a complete waste of time. So B2B environment, it's very important that you ask the right questions. Try to understand why the customer is wanting a solution. Can you provide an alternative also, which is probably cheaper for the customer? So winning trust is very different in a B2B environment than a B2C environment. But patience has to be there in B2B. Reaching in time, keeping the promises are all very important. And saying no again is very important.